Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome one and all. I am so grateful to be back with you today. I am flying solo today. And so, because I thought I would talk about something that is near and dear to my heart and also to my existence, and also something that has been coming up in the news lately. I'm sure you have heard that the Pentagon has released UFO videos, and they're planning on a congressional UFO report coming out very, very soon, which will be very interesting to see what is in there. Because I've been paying attention to the disclosure efforts for a long time now. I am personally a UFO experiencer. I do Dolores Cannon's method of hypnosis, which she originally started doing UFO research. And her first books were all about UFOs and alien encounters and abductions and all of the things. And so I absolutely love this topic. And so let's chat about it a little bit. And I know I've shared my own UFO experience on this show before, but I figured let's do it again. It's been a while. So I live in Arizona, and I moved here in the fall or late summer of 1999. And I think it was somewhere like 99, 2000, maybe. I think it was no later than that, maybe 2001, but I don't think so. And I was living in this apartment down by the South Mountain area. And one night I would go out on my balcony, and I was studying, and I would go out and I would take breaks here and there and go sit and get some fresh air and look out at the stars. And there was this one really, really bright star, so bright that it didn't quite feel like a star to me. And it kept grabbing my attention. And then I kept feeling like this thing was watching me. And I also kept feeling like it can hear my thoughts. And the minute that I had this realization, this star went straight up in the air and then started coming towards me. And as it came towards me, I could see what it actually was. And it was this rectangular shaped object. And it looked like it was really like a thin width. And it went literally right at my sight line. I was on like the second floor patio balcony in my apartment complex. And it came within maybe like 100 feet, I'll say. And it just went really, really slow right by me. And as this was happening, I felt like time just stopped. Like I felt like pinching myself because I was like, is this happening? Is this real? Am I tripping? I didn't take anything, and this is happening. This is real. But at the same time, time stopped, and I was not scared in the least possible bit. I felt such an intense feeling of peace and safety. And that I can't explain. That was one of the most interesting things to me, how it felt and how it was a very mental and telepathic connection in the first place. And so as this ship, I'll call it, went by me, after it was done with my apartment patio area, it took off like speed of light and had two little red lights. That was it. And it was gone. And from that point on, my whole perception and the way that I look at life became different because I now knew that we were not alone in the universe. And I never really thought that we were. I always never could understand how we could possibly be alone in this universe. And so this was like the proof that I needed for myself. And, you know, back in the year 2000, it wasn't quite as accepted as it is now. And so when I would try to tell people this story, of course, I am making things up and I'm seeing things and what have you, right? But what I love about this is that now, 20 years later, this idea is catching on that, yeah, we're not alone in the universe. And these unidentified aerial phenomena exist. That's what we call them now, right? UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, as opposed to UFO, which I kind of like UFO, although UAP does make more sense because they are quite the aerial phenomena. What they can do, we cannot. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this today is because this idea that we're not alone in the universe and that aliens, people, entities, beings from other planets have come to Earth might be a little scary for some. And maybe that's some of you listening, but maybe more so it's the people in your world that you need to be helping out. And so they're not so afraid because these beings have been around for a very long time. And if they wanted to cause us any harm, they probably would have done it by now. And as it says in Dolores Cannon's book, I think it's Keepers of the Garden, it says that they're basically more afraid of us than we are of them because we are so violent and the way we treat each other, it's scary to them. And so I really don't believe that there is ever anything to fear because if there was, we would have already seen it. Because the reality is that these entities, these beings are here helping us and have been for a really, really long time. And the reason why we are seeing them more now so than ever is because we really need the help right now. And it's interesting, from years and years and years ago, Dolores Cannon was talking about this very idea that when the craft come and show themselves to people, they're doing that for a variety of reasons. One is to help wake them up, to help show them that we're not alone in the universe and that it is much bigger than we perceive here on this tiny little seed of Earth out here in this grandiose universe. It is so much bigger. And then also, they put downloads or ideas in concepts into our minds when these experiences happen. So that when we're going through a time like this, that's when it is awakened. And then we have this awakening and we don't understand it. Like all of a sudden, I woke up and I get it. And maybe that's because you've had a download at some point in your life. And maybe it wasn't from an obvious UFO. Because also, as Dolores talks about, she calls them overlays, but sometimes they'll come in like the form of an owl or something else that's not so scary in order to help you. Because really, they are us and we are them. All these different dimensional levels of ourselves. And all these beings that are here helping us have been here since the beginning. Since the beginning of the seeding of this planet, supporting us and helping us. And are there negative entities out there? I'm sure there are. Of course, there would have to be. That just makes sense, right? Because this is a dualistic universe that we live in. And thank goodness for the laws of non-interference, because if they were meaning to do us any harm or tried to do us any harm, we would have that help from those good guys. And I think that there's been this scenario happening for a long, long time. We've had lots and lots of help. And the only way we can ever be interfered with is when we make that choosing on our own. And so that's why there's nothing to fear, because you get to choose. You get to choose love or fear. Dolores always found in her research that those who were abducted and had negative experiences, when they went and re-experienced that time under hypnosis and went to the higher self perspective, she found in every single case that it was never negative, that they were never taken against their will, that their subconscious, their higher self, had agreed to it on a higher level to help them in their evolvement here on Earth. There was always a very good reason for it. And it was never, ever, ever negative. The reason why it sometimes seems that way, it's because our conscious mind sees it that way. From our human mind perspective, we see it that way. We see it as negative. But when we can look at it from the big picture, from that grandiose scheme, it's not negative at all. They're really just trying to help us. And not only that, but to also help to prevent us from hurting the rest of the universe. Because what happens in one happens in the whole, and we all exist here together in this entire universe. And so we started to see this increase in UFO activity after the atomic bomb testings happened in the 40s. And the reason why we started to see that was because, and Dolores found this in her work too, that the atomic bomb sent reverberations out throughout the universe. And it threw everything off. It threw the alignment off. And that is not okay. In that way, then we are harming not just ourselves and our tiny little planet, but we then have the potential to harm the rest of the universe. And so they're like our ancestors, our grandparents, coming here to help us little kids who are playing in the sandbox and throwing sand in each other's eyes and not really knowing how to make sense of anything. And when we can build a tower, we get all pissy and we break it all down again, right? That's how I feel like they see us, as these kids just screwing around in a sandbox and they don't know what they're doing. And in order for us to not affect the grand universe, they're here helping us and themselves at the same time. So this is a very, very great, wonderful thing that we're actually getting disclosure. Because if this is common knowledge and not just knowledge to a few, imagine how different the world would be, how different we could look at each other and just open our minds to what is actually possible. Think about our technology even. Like the technology that we have now that is, commonplace. Back in the 60s, they had stuff that we could never even imagine right now. And that was the top secret stuff that they had back then. And so who knows what's out there now and where did it come from, right? How did these technologies somehow come into existence? Well, many times it comes from crashed craft, alien helpers that share technology, all of these. And, as I talk about this, I feel like I'm, talking about a sci-fi show that I've been watching because I do love to watch those things. I love to nerd out, especially on Stargate lately. And literally, I feel like as I watch Stargate, I'm watching reality. And this was again, early 2000s, that this show is out. But now all this stuff that's in this show is like coming to light as being the truth. Even the craft they use in these shows are like triangular shaped craft, which is one of the videos that the Pentagon had released. Very, very interesting stuff. I love knowing that there's so much more out there and that what we think we know, we don't know anything. We literally don't know anything. And for me, I know that the more that I learned, the more I realized that I really know nothing. I absolutely know nothing. So don't listen to a word I say. Take everything with a grain of salt. Everything is just perspective at this moment in time, right? And so I hope this perspective helps you to look at our other planetary friends in a different light, that there is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. They've been here helping us the entire time and even living among us. That might be a little harder to swallow, but this is another thing that's been talked about in the disclosure world now for quite some time, is that there are beings here from other planets that have been living here for quite some time. And some of them look just like us and some of them don't. And so they live underground. And there's so much more to explore. So much more. And so if you want to read some books on this, Dolores Cannon is absolutely my recommendation. The Custodians was her first book, and one of my favorites is also called Keepers of the Garden, which I mentioned earlier. But lots of good information in that one about perspective and how to look at it without fear, and how to understand that it's like when you plant a garden and you take care of that garden, you plant the seed and you water it and you make sure it has sunlight and fresh air, and you pull out the weeds if necessary and give it some good nutrients, right? This is what they do for us. That's essentially, they are gardening their garden. We are the garden. And gardens are meant to grow and thrive and sustain and nurture and all the beautiful things. And that's what we are here to do, all together as a collective. Loving one another, nurturing one another, accepting one another from this planet or from another. The more we can accept each other, the more able we are to accept those from a whole nother planet. How about that? That's really cool. Imagine that, being able to accept other beings here from other planets. That might take a while, but that would be pretty cool. I'd love to see that. Well, I'm going to leave you guys with a song for today. And I know I've played this recently, but I have to play it again today. It's Wookiefoot, Earthling. Until next time, I love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
The world is under attack at this very moment. The world is under attack at this very moment.
I'm an earthling, and you're an earthling, and we're evolving now, so we all sing that I'm an earthling, and you're an earthling. I see a beautiful new day dawning. We gotta battle the alien nation, help the people isolated by division, come to remind them that it's all collaboration, and smash all the self-imposed prisons. No more solitary confinement, see the light being split by the prism, but we can get it all back into alignment. Oh, people of the earth, please listen. I'm an earthling, and you're an earthling, and we're evolving now, so we all sing that I'm an earthling, and you're an earthling. I see a beautiful new day dawning, 'cause we're down to earth, we're down to earth, oh, we're down to earth, we're down to earth. So dig your toes in the dirt, 'cause it all comes down to earth. children. The earth is not given to you by your parents. It is known to you by your children's children. I'm an earthling and you're an earthling, and we're evolving now, so we all think that I'm an earthling and you're an earthling. I see a beautiful new day dawning. 'Cause we're down to earth, we're down to earth, oh, we're down to earth, we're down to earth. So dig your toes in the dirt, 'cause it all comes down to earth.
In our galaxy, it's our reality. Not telling a nation, it starts our humanity. Love and insight, that is our divinity. Stretch forth your arms and reach for eternity. When the sun shines to open up the day, it can be when it's from far away. We are together, man, we can't separate. Stop any policy that promotes hate. Well, life is good, me say the life can be better, but me must stick together like a sapling and a letter. Man, I want to hug you, sister, man, and hug up your brother, 'cause we must evolve and stick together.
To all my nature freaks, to all my nature freaks, and my freaks of nature, and my freaks of nature. All my nature freaks, to all my nature freaks, and my freaks of nature, and my freaks of nature. Everybody that you see is an earthling, and all the animals and trees are earthlings. And even though that we know that they can't speak, make a choice for the voiceless. Everybody sing. You can try to build it wide, to build it high, to never move faster